الشمس الشديدة واقفة ووقفتها عنيدة، حمد الله البريدة صادقة ونقية، شادة طريقة بإيدها مالية العالم بريدة، ودماها الف وريدة سودانية. خطواتها وهي بتعدي ونظراتها فيهم تحدي، وكلماتها أنا حافظاها عندي شعار وهوية. هي جميلة لكن قوية، هي بسيطة هي دغرية، هي عظيمة هي حربية وسودانية.
أنا سودانية سودانية
أنا سودانية. نادوا الطير اللي بغني يمشي ويحكي لها عني، أنا بهواها لأني أنا هي. نادوا الطير اللي بغني يمشي ويحكي لها عني، أنا بهواها لأني أنا هي. خطواتها وهي بتعدي ونظراتها فيهم تحدي، كلماتها أنا حافظاها عندي شعار وهوية. هي جميلة لكن قوية، هي بسيطة هي دغرية، هي عظيمة هي حربية وسودانية.
Yeah, the platform is now open, so can we get started? The moderator, please, can you get started? Prof. Mayada, please, can you get started? Mayada, your microphone is turned off. Can you unmute it, please? Let's listen to some music as we wait for Myra to be ready.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Oh, great. Great. Thank you so much. So can you see me as well?
We
Can you
can
see
see
me?
you, Prof. Mayada.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Allow me to welcome everyone into this forum. And this, we are expecting good progress from everyone in this meeting, and would love to thank Forum for the initiative to invite all national African governments to share and to express their scientific backgrounds, their needs, their thoughts, to come together as one African nation. Today, we are going to present our Sudanese national dialogue, and we are very thankful to the Ministry of Agriculture. Today, the Undersecretary of the Ministry of Agriculture and Forests is with us. Also, the Secretary of Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research is with us. And also AHA, the General Director for the Agricultural Research Corporation, for hosting this event together with the Ministry of Agriculture. Please allow me to share with you my screen. First, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mayada. I graduated from Khartoum University with background of botany, Faculty of Science. Then I joined the university as part-timer. Within that time, I had good trips all over Africa to collect ecological data and research forests in some African countries. Before joining the Agricultural Research Corporation in 2006 as an assistant research scientist. After working in the ARC for 2 years, I had chance to go to Makerere University with scholarship from SCARDA under the Forum coordination to do my MSc in plant breeding and seed systems. And then I applied to that scholarship in region and also Forum coordination to do PhD in plant breeding and biotechnology. In 2016, I joined the ARC as an assistant professor, and I applied for several grants, and I won also some prizes, and I supervised some students to do their postgraduate studies in Sudan and outside Sudan. Currently, I'm interested on using advanced biotechnology techniques to enhance and improve crops in Sudan and in the region in general. I thank Prof. Abdelmouni Taha for allowing me to arrange for this event and to facilitate everyone and to facilitate the events and activities for these 3.5 hours coming. And I thank also everyone, my professors and doctors, the resourceful people for Sudan and for outside Sudan, for accepting to join this meeting and share their thoughts and knowledge. Together we can move fast and forward. Please let me introduce the program overview for this 3.5 hours. Session 1, we are going to set the scene with some background on the event. The second session is going to be on the analysis of key drivers affecting agriculture and food systems in Sudan. The last session, we are going to wrap up of the emerging issues and recommendations from the event, what we would like to share with our African nations. The Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Forests, Mr. Abdurrahman Hutur, is going to officially open this meeting. And please allow me to introduce him. Mr. Hutur graduated from Khartoum University Faculty of Agriculture in 1985. Then he had a lot of work and his profession in managing and in-depth projects in planning, budgeting, and improve vegetable seeds. Mr. Hutur is a leader of private sector with significant contributions, especially in vegetables and fruits. And he is a founder and chairman of several large agricultural companies before joining the federal government as under. Mr. Hutur, please, the floor is yours. Hello? Mr. Hutur? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I hear you. Okay.
Hello, Mr. Hutur. I know you are around.
Yeah.
I know you are around. Good. I've just introduced you, sir.
Okay.
And please allow me to mention this. This meeting, you are free to speak in whatever language you prefer, in Arabic or in English, because Zoom has an icon to translate. So if you would like to speak in Arabic, there is a Zoom. There is a link in the Zoom for the participants. So they can listen to any language of their preference. Thank you so much. So please, the floor is yours, Mr. Hutur.
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome to all of you. As I am the Under Secretary, I have to speak in our official language. I will speak in Arabic. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. بروف أديبالا إكواكو المدير التنفيذي لسكرتارية الروفورم، السيد وجدي مرغني ممثل القطاع الخاص، العلماء الأجلاء. بداية يسرني أن أرحب بالجميع الذين يشاركون الحوار بغية الخروج بتوصيات تنبع من واقعنا لتساهم في تحقيق التنمية المستدامة وأهدافها 17، إيمانا منا بضرورة تنويع مصادر الغذاء وتطويرها ونقلها من التقليدية إلى نظم أكثر تطورا وتقدما من أجل النهوض بالمستوى الغذائي لشعبنا والشعوب الأفريقية، وفي سبيل تحويل أكبر لتحقيق الرقي والتقدم الاقتصادي والاجتماعي، بقناعتنا الراسخة أن العامل البشري هو أهم الموارد التي تحسم التفوق والريادة في العالم. يشرفنا شخصيا باسمي واسم وزارة الزراعة والغابات السودان أن أعلن أمامكم الافتتاح الرسمي ل the Sudan National Consultation on the Pre-United Nations Food System Summit Dialogue، آملا أن يثمر مناقشاتكم ومشاركاتكم في نشر التوعية الغذائية وربط الإنتاج لتحقيق الرفاهية لشعبنا. في الأخير، نتشرف بالإضافة النوعية التي ستخلقها مثل هذه المشاركات. أجدد شكري وعرفاني لكل المؤسسات التي شاركت أو تشارك في هذه الفعالية. شكرا على حسن الإصغاء، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. We have to start. شكرا. Thank you. دكتورة ميادة، you can. دكتورة ميادة، you hear me؟ دكتورة ميادة.
Yes, Mr. Futur, I am with you.
The floor for you. Yeah.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, the floor for you, Dr. Mayada. I finished my speech.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Hudur. Thank you so much for accepting to chair and to present and to welcome and to officially open this meeting. Thank you so much. We are so grateful. In the Agricultural Research Corporation, we of course depend on you, and of course this meeting is just a beginning of a lot of activities coming in the near future. Thank you so much. So please officially open for us this meeting.
Yeah. We start to open this session. The coming businessman, Professor Adibala Ikwamu, Forum Executive Secretary. Session topic: background to the United Nations Food System Summit 2021 and the National and Regional Dialogue. The floor for you, Mr. Adibala. The floor for you, Mr. Adibala.
Thank you very much. Good morning. My name is Alice Mtiti Mwetwa. I am standing in on behalf of Professor Adipala Ikwamu, our Executive Secretary for the Regional Universities Forum for Capacity Building in Agriculture, which is a network of 129 universities in 38 African countries. So I send you greetings from Roof Forum here in Kampala in Uganda. And Professor Adipala also sends his greetings, and he sends his apologies for not being able to attend the meeting this morning due to some emergency. So please allow me to share my screen, even as I give the background to this dialogue. 1 minute, please, as I share the screen. Okay, so first and foremost, I wish to convey our congratulations to Sudan for being able to prepare and to host the Sudan National Consultations on the UN Food Systems Summit dialogue this morning. And briefly, before I go into giving the background on the summit, I wish to say a few things about RUForum. So RUForum was founded by the African Vice Chancellors in 2004. And the idea of establishing RUForum at that time, and even today, is to provide a network, a platform for networking, for mobilizing resources, and for advocacy in order to transform universities for relevance towards inclusive, sustainable development. RUForum was also established to rationalize resource use, enhance economies of scale and scope. So this means that universities together in the network, they could combine the resources that they have together with the expertise and then do a little bit more than they could if they were to do it as individuals. Thirdly, and lastly, RUForum was established to provide a platform for training quality graduates. And mostly these graduates would be in the field of agriculture sciences and other related supporting sciences to agriculture. And that training of graduates would then be for the purpose of supporting development processes in the continent. Just 1 minute, please. It is as if my slide is not moving. Just 1 minute. The slide will not move. Let me ask for someone to help me move the slides. I think they've become stuck. Even as someone comes, on RUForum still, RUForum again has over the years evolved. And as I have mentioned already, the institution started as with only 10 member universities that were predominantly in East and Southern Africa. But with time, the consortium has grown into 129 member universities that are now in 38 countries in Africa, from only being in 5 countries, namely Kenya, Uganda, Malawi, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique. In Uganda, in Sudan, I beg your pardon, RUForum has 7 member universities, and we're very happy to note this morning that these member universities have been very active in RUForum activities, and they have been participating in training students. They have also been participating in conducting research, and as well as in other activities of RUForum. So far, universities in Sudan have benefited from 12 research grants amounting to $700,000 US. So this has enabled the universities to conduct research. Kindly, moderator, kindly assist Engineer Hataki to mute his mic. I can get feedback from him. Thank you. So to continue, as well, universities in Sudan have benefited by training 209 doctoral and master's students. In addition, Roof Forum has supported the skilling of staff and students in scientific writing, proposal development, and leadership, as well as management. Also, Roof Forum has supported the universities to mobilize resources in partnership with Sudanese ministries. And this year, Roof Forum is organizing, together with several Arab organizations and some of the ministries here in Uganda, a second Afro-Arab Partnership Forum. And this is a follow-up from the forum that was held here in Kampala in September of 2019. Coming back to why we are meeting this morning. Apologies again, my slides won't move. Just briefly, as I get help to move the slide, I don't know why they're getting stuck, is that the UN Food Systems Summit, recognizes that we as the world cannot deliver on all the 17 sustainable development goals if we don't end hunger, if we don't end malnutrition, and if we don't have sustainable and resilient climate-compatible agriculture food systems. And also the summit recognizes that interventions must be people-centered and based on human rights and social justice. So this means that we need to have inclusivity in all the actions that we are going to come up with in order for all the interventions to be delivered to all the people everywhere that have a stake in food systems. This means for us that we need to bring into the picture youth, women, persons with disabilities, displaced persons, refugees, and other marginalized groups. So this is the background to the Food Systems Summit. So what does the Food Systems Summit aim to achieve? So the UN Food Systems Summit seeks to launch new actions, solutions, and strategies to achieve healthier, more sustainable, and equitable food systems. So this means that we need to raise awareness and have public discussions on how we can reform the food systems in order for us to achieve the SDGs. Additionally, we need to develop principles to guide the governments and other stakeholders to leverage their food systems to support the SDGs. And for those of us that are on the continent of Africa, we are also very, very cognizant of the fact that we need to respond to the African Union Agenda 2063. In addition, this summit then requires that we generate action towards the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And this includes issuing a call at all levels of the food system. So from production all the way up to consumption, and also taking care of issues that relate to non-agricultural factors. Lastly, we need to create a system for follow-up and to ensure that the summit outcomes drive new actions. So meaning that the having dialogues themselves are not an end in itself. So there's need to follow up to actually actualize the things that are going to come out of this dialogue. Now, the summit involves a series of dialogues that are leading to it in October 2021. So the process to the summit is as follows. There is a special envoy, Dr. Agnes Kalibata, who is the current president of AGRA. She is also the former Minister of Agriculture for Rwanda. So she is the special envoy. The summit also has a secretariat, which is involved in managing the knowledge and all the messages that are coming out of the different dialogues and the different components, as it were, to the summit. And then the summit has a scientific group. The summit also has action tracks, 1 up to 5. Now, these action tracks are the levers of change. These are the means by which we are going to have a contribution to the transformation of the food systems. And in the next slide, I'll be sort of highlighting very briefly what those action tracks are. We also have the Champions Network. And currently there are 100 champions. And I'm glad to report this morning that Professor Adipala Ekwam is one of those champions. And their role in this process really is to mobilize different stakeholders before, during, and after the summit, so that all the interventions that are going to be devised pre and during the summit can then be followed up and actually be implemented by the different stakeholders. The summit also has the Food System Summit Dialogues, which are in 3 categories. There's the member state dialogues, such as the one that Sudan is hosting right now, and congratulations once again. And then the global dialogues and the independent dialogues. Now, RU Forum has been hosting several independent dialogues to contribute to coming up with key messages that are going to go up to the summit in 2021. In addition, there's also a UN task force. So this is how the summit is organized. So there are a number of activities before the summit itself, including our discussion this morning in this meeting. So the 5 action tracks to guide the consultancies as follows, to guide the consultations are as follows. Number 1 is ensuring access to safe and nutritious food for all. So this requires that as we meet this morning, as the different dialogues take place across the continent and indeed across the world, we come up with solutions on how to achieve zero hunger, how to increase access to affordable and nutritious foods, and how to increase food safety. So food safety in terms of chemical food safety, but microbiological food safety, and so on. Secondly, and the second tract is shifting to sustainable consumption patterns. So how can we contribute, therefore, to creating an enabling food environment and shifting food demand and reducing food waste by half? Because a lot of the food that is produced, all the effort and resources that go into production in most of our countries, indeed, wasted when we throw away food, when we don't add value, when we don't have appropriate preservation methods. Thirdly, boosting nature positive production at sufficient scales. This involves us to devise means of protecting our natural ecosystems, managing sustainably existing food production systems, restoring and rehabilitating degraded ecosystems, and restoring soil function so that we can get the most out of it. Fourthly, and the 4th track, is advancing equitable livelihoods and value distribution. This means strengthening agency, formulating inclusive policies, and also having multidimensional welfare and access. The last track is on building resilience to vulnerabilities, shocks, and stress. This means we are looking at all the three types of resiliences: economic resilience, social resilience, and environmental resilience. As Roof Forum, as we seek to contribute and to add a voice to the summit, we have developed a roadmap. And this roadmap really is at two different levels. The first level is at the university level. So the universities and other institutions that are involved primarily in human capital development. So for universities, really, it is their engagement in food systems dialogues, such as this one. Such as this dialogue, but also amongst themselves, and then also the involvement of other stakeholders. Secondly, the role of universities and their engagement in supporting national, regional, continental, and global dialogues. And then thirdly, engaging in the UN Food Systems Summit dialogue itself. So this part of the roadmap seeks to ensure that universities have a voice in the summit, that they have a voice, on their role in human capital development, research, technology development, and innovation, and their commitment to contributing to transforming food systems dialogue so that they are inclusive and that they are functional for all the people everywhere. Lastly, and the second part of our roadmap seeks to engage with policy and other key actors. So as Roof Forum, we see the role of technical experts. We see the role of African ministers and other key actors. We also see a role for selected advocates that will speak for Africa's development. We also see a very big role indeed of the heads of state and governments in this summit. So what we have done is to then schedule and call a number of meetings that are going to involve government technical experts. And this particular meeting is going to be held this afternoon itself. Then we do have a dialogue of African ministers and other key actors such as FARA, FAO, and so on. And we are going to have this meeting on the 17th of June. And we have the selected advocates for African development. Their dialogue is going to be held on 2nd of June. And finally, we'll have the heads of state and government summit on 1st of July. So Reform expects, therefore, from the national dialogues such as this one, that we are going to have a report based on the assessment of the country food status. What is the status of food systems? For example, this morning, the status of food systems in Sudan. What are some of the challenges that the food system in Sudan is facing right now? And what are the opportunities in terms of transforming the food system in Sudan? What are the actions that we need? Who are the players? What are the resources? And so on. Secondly, we expect from the national dialogues to have recommendations towards those 5 action tracks that I mentioned of the UN food systems. And then lastly, to give some suggestions of key messages that can be cascaded by the member states, such as Sudan, to the UN food systems. So indeed, our role as universities, but also our roles as different stakeholders in this dialogue is to see, how do we pitch the message for the transformation of our food systems so that we can achieve the SDGs, all of the 17 of them. So with this, I wish to thank you for giving Roof Forum the opportunity to explain and to give the background on the UN Food Systems Summit. And I do wish the meeting good deliberations and a fruitful morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alice. We so appreciate your presence, and please convey our greetings and salute to Prof. Adibala and everyone at the forum. We so thankful for your initiative and your work and your hard work. And together, I know we can go very far and fast. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to Sudan once again for preparing and hosting this moment. Thank you.
Please allow me to take you through the session number 2, which is the analysis of key drivers affecting agriculture and food systems in Sudan. Please allow me to introduce you our 3 panelists for today. Professor Abdelmunim Taha, the General Director of the Agricultural Research Corporation. Professor Abdelmunim has graduated with the BSc from honors from Khartoum University. Then he did his MSc and PhD in agricultural economics in Purdue University in the US. His main areas of research include policy analysis, resource management, and program management. He has over 25 years of extensive research management and professional experience at the national and regional levels. He worked as a socio-economist in agricultural sector management support projects in Yemen. Then he worked as technical officer, management and evaluation analysis and planning unit in the Azareka in Uganda. Later, he joined the United Nations entity for gender equality and the empowerment of women as planning, monitoring and evaluation and reporting officer. Later on, he returned to our ARC to lead the Agricultural Economics and Policy Research Center, and then currently he is the Director General of ARC. Our second panelist is Dr. Fortman Hassan. She is the Secretary General of Food Security Technical Secretariat at the Ministry of Agriculture and Forests. Dr. Fatma graduated from Khartoum University with BSc in Agricultural Economics. Then she did her PhD and MSc from Sudan University of Science and Khartoum University, respectively, in Agricultural Economics, in Food Security and Nutrition. She joined the Ministry of Agriculture and Forests in 1984. Dr. Fatma is the former IGAD Food Security and Nutrition Regional Coordinator. She is also an IPC chairperson. She has several peer-reviewed publications and books and participated on several research and external events in and outside Sudan. She trained and facilitated several groups and workshops in Sudan, Rwanda, Uganda, Afghanistan, among others. She is a member and co-chair of several forums and communities, example, Global Food Security Group, GFRAS, AFAS, Early Warning, Early Action Forum, among others. She is also a member in the Regional Committee of Food for Food Loss with FAO. Currently, she is the Secretary General of Food Security Technical Secretariat in Sudan and the Sudan National Convener at the Ministry of Agriculture and Forests. The third panelist is Prof. Sami Sharif, the Secretary of the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research. Prof. Sami is a University of Khartoum. His current research interests include networking, switching, and telegraphic engineering, radio propagation, electromagnetic, information technology, and communications. Electronic systems. Prof. Sami is the Undersecretary of the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research. I thank everyone here in this session, and please allow me to introduce Professor Taha to begin his presentation. Professor Abdelmunem Taha, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mayada, and I'm pleased to be here. And I say assalamu alaikum to everyone. And my presentation or my talk is going to be about food systems in Sudan from the perspectives of Agriculture Research Corporation, or from the research. Mayada, I couldn't get my presentation on the screen.
Hello, Professor Abdelmunem. Hope everything is all right. Hello? Prof. Abdelmunem. Looks like there is internet problem. Will it be okay if we invite Dr. Fatma to present? It looks like Professor Abdelmunem has problem with his internet. Hello, Dr. Fatma?
Hello?
Dr. Fatma?
Yes.
Yes. I'm on now.
Okay.
Mayada. Can I? Mayada.
Okay. Welcome back, Prof. Abdelmunem. Welcome back. Yes, please. Yes, please. The floor is yours.
Yeah, my name.
Yes, please.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
It's issues of in food systems in Sudan. Yes, Can you hear me now?
Yes, please. We can hear you. Please continue.
Okay. Yeah, it's yes. Let me do some maybe some concepts and definition. This is the definition of the food system by FAO. It's encompasses or under interlinked value-adding activities involved in the production, aggregation, processing, distribution, consumption, and disposal of food products, whether it's from agriculture or forestry or fisheries. So the food system basic distribution and consumption. So it requires many steps. It's look like we're just talking about the value chain of those food commodities. A food system has to be sustainable. Actually, if you're going to continue to feed people food, it has to be sustainable so that in the future everybody will also be food secured.
Hello?
A food system that delivers food security and nutrition for all in such a way that economic.
Prof. Abdelmunem.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes. Yes. I can hear.
Please, we cannot see your screen. We cannot see the presentation.
Ah,
Yes,
but you can hear me.
we can hear you very well.
Yeah, it's on the
So please, you share your screen. First, open your presentation, then click on share screen icon below your photo down there.
I did, Mayada.
Okay. So maybe please the floor. Has everyone seen the presentation for Prof. Abdelmonem?
No. We are not. We are
No,
not seeing
we
it.
didn't see.
Okay. So please, Prof, open your presentation.
Can you?
Please open your presentation on your computer. Open it in the desktop. Then come to the Zoom, click share screen, and then click slideshow.
I did.
Wow. Okay.
Even without slide, I did. I have it actually. You can't see it now? No?
No, bro. No screen.
No, maybe you can just
Can I
continue.
just talk?
You can't see, but can continue presenting.
Oh, okay, please, Prof, you can continue, and then we can all hear your clear voice. Thank you so much. Please continue. The floor is yours.
Okay. So, Guna Sustainable
yes, come.
Delivers food security, and you can't hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
we hear you. Yes, we hear you.
For all in such a way that it has to be economic, social, and environmental basis to generate food security and nutrition. Kida. It means that has to be profitable throughout. I mean, economic sustainability. I mean, it has to be profitable for now and in the future. It has to be broad-based that benefits all the society, especially those vulnerables. This we call social sustainability, and it has to be positive or neutral impact on the natural environment, and it has to be environmental sustainability. Okay. The food system is very complex actually, because food system must be considered in the context or the frameworks of the rapid population growth, urbanization, nutrition, safety, health, changing consumption pattern, globalization, climate change, and depletion of natural resources. It's a very complex phenomenon actually, this food system. So if we want to deal with food system, we really have to think and analyze such kind of this complexity. So as far as research, we in ARC actually, we develop technologies for food crops and even for cash crops, and all of them, they support these food systems. As far as all varieties or all commodities we develop technologies for, they have to be technically feasible, economically viable, and socially acceptable and sustainable to deal with those three kind of sustainabilities. That's not all. Also, the food system operate within so many institutional, policy-related, and legal frameworks, for example. Improve the external efficiency of our research to facilitate and enabling institutional policy environment as far as input and services institution, yani like the seed industry, input markets, extension, output markets, input prices, output prices, trade regulations, macroeconomic environment, like the fiscal policies, because we know that even that those macroeconomic policy environment or policies like fiscal policies and monetary policies, they do really affect and the production system and all the chain of the food systems. Monetary policies and their effect on the price or the incentives for those producers or for those operators or actors along the food system value chain. Also the livelihood, the poverty and the food security challenges, all those really we have to consider and we have to analyze in order for us to have an efficient and sustainable food system. The international trade, privatization also is very important, and natural resource management. We do all these in kind of farm or sector or economy-wide kind of analysis and models. This is what we do in ARC in order to really comprehensively and holistically look at the food systems. Climate change and environment is very important actually for having a good and efficient and sustainable food system. Now in ARC actually we are trying to predict the future climate through modeling, for example, by investigating and analyzing environmental data. We are trying to predict the future climate of Sudan from the past and present climate observation in order to develop crop models for crop production. Modeling is very important because by doing modeling, we are trying to simulate that complexity of the food system, because it is not only varieties that has to be grown in the field, and that's all. There are so many complex issues we have to consider. Then we analyze the economic impact of the crop production on the national economy in different climate scenarios. Also, we examine the response of the developed germplasm to future climate scenarios. We develop climate smart agriculture and crop production technologies. And this is what we are trying to do. That we are moving into this climate smart agriculture or climate smart technologies and precision technologies. And I will give examples for that in order, because it is very complex. So that's why you have to be very precise. You have to be very smart in order to get, for example, the right technologies that can really sustain those kind of complexities which really characterize the food systems. I hope you would be able to see this, but and when doing this actually in research, we're doing it through what we call agricultural innovation system and value chain development, and we have to have a very comprehensive understanding of the value chain system. Yes.
Allow me.
Yes.
Prof. Abdelmalik, you have 5 minutes left.
Yes.
You have 5 minutes left.
Okay. Yeah. You see, using this value chain system, the value chain system, it's a process of activities which goes from input provision through production, transformation, processing, distribution, marketing, up to consumption. So using this really, this approach will enable us to really facilitate the horizontal and the vertical and interaction of the value chain stakeholders, because along these different rings, we have different stakeholders doing different functions, starting from input production up to consumption. So that's why another thing related to the technologies we really develop as far as the food system is concerned. People usually in the past, they concentrate on those what we call product innovation or product technologies, like a variety but there are other innovations or other technologies that we have to consider, which we are trying to do now. For example, it is not only the tangible technology, but it's also we have efficient, effective production and processing. And this is what we call the process innovation or the process technology, like the improved water management methods, like using the laser land leveling in the field, for example. Another innovation or technology, it's called system technology or system innovation, like the innovation platforms by addressing demand, by addressing supply, by addressing the value chain. This is the third one. The last one is we have also to respond to the changing context, because that context is very complex. That's why we're doing climate smart technologies. We're doing precision technologies, responding to the changing future environment, which we know that Sudan is very much affected by the climate change and climate variability. The last thing, because time is really running, through this value chain system, we know that the value chain system is actually it has three subsystems. The micro one, which is really those operators who are along the value chain, and then we have also an intermediate level or the meso level. This is represented by the private and the public service providers. So those actually, they provide us advisory services, extension, training services, market information, market linkages, organizational development, research and development, and the financial services. Without these services, the efficiency of the food systems is very much actually affected. This is the intermediate in the last one, which is we have to set an enabling environment for this food system really to be efficient and to be sustainable. And this is represented, this is the macro part of the value chain, which is represented by the governments, by the providers of utilities, and the public administration. And this environment for our seed, for our food system to really operate and be efficient, like the macroeconomic policy, the financial policy, the legal frameworks, like the land tenure, the standards, the economic infrastructure, the road network, the market, the information, then the social infrastructure, the education, health, good water, and then the business establishment and the enforcement of those businesses, which really create the enabling environment for our players or stakeholders along the value chain of the food system to operate. The main challenges we are really facing, we think has to be looked at, is that there is no clear national strategy for food system which should guide all stakeholders along the value chain collectively and individually, so that individual components as well as the whole chain are efficiently operational. Nationally, we have to look at this, especially this has to be guided by the Ministry of Agriculture. Although the innovation platform approach is used, but partnerships between and among different stakeholders, like input providers, producers, processors, up to the consumers, are not strategic actually. They're kind of transitional and not built around and driven by the national goal of the holistic food systems. And this is very important also. Also, there should be a champion to coordinate these partnerships. It looks like everybody is working on their own. So the interaction and the engagement of those stakeholders is not really very strong, so that to have an efficient food system. The inadequate technical capacity to address the complexity of the changing context of the food system with respect to responding to current and future nutritional demand, agro-industry, quality traits, future climate change scenarios. I mean, we have to have the technical capacity, whether it's human or whether it is technical or physical, in order to address and try to simulate and to understand these complexities. The last one the capacity of the public extension. Extension is very important, for example, a component of stakeholder of the food system. The capacity of the public extension system is poorly capacitated in terms of technical capacity with respect to modern and relevant extension methods and to the capacity to reach out to farmers in the rural areas. Thank you very much. I would have wished you see the presentation, but I hope I've been clear enough for you to understand. Thank you very much, Mayada, and everybody, of course.
Thank you so much, Prof. Abdelmonem Taha, for your nice presentation. And of course, us also would have loved to if we could have seen the presentation, but no problem. I know everyone has enjoyed your way of presentation. Thank you so much. And please allow me to introduce the next presenter, Dr. Fortman Hassan. Please, the floor is yours. Hello, Dr. Fortman?
You hear me now?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, please. Yes, please. The floor is yours now. You can start your presentation. I will start the presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the invitation for this very important event. Actually, we are leading the preparation for the Food System Summit. I am the convener for Sudan, national convener. We organized a dialogue in April, and now we are going to prepare for the next dialogue in June, so as to submit the Sudan pathway, because every country requested to submit a pathway to the UN so as to be presented in the conference. Actually, our theme is to develop a resilient, equitable, sustainable food system, leaving no one behind. Yes, next. Hello, Mayada. Hello.
We can hear you. You can go ahead. I think maybe
Yes, Dr. Mayada, can you move the screen? Hello. Please.
I move from this slide.
Yes, yes, please.
I move from this slide.
Yes, as a background, so Sudan has many opportunities to strengthen and to improve and to develop the food system because of the potentialities, as Dr. Abdelmonem said. Yes, you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you. I think
yes, okay.
Mayada's network is.
Yes, the most important opportunity is the high level of food security and nutrition setup, because now agencies is becoming the fifth food security pillar. We have a public-private partnership. Food security and nutrition policy exists. Engagement of youth and women in agriculture to well equipped by technologies. Opportunities in education, especially for the, hello? Please, Dr. Mayada, where is the screen?
Yes, and Dr. Fatima,
Yes.
I think Nada, Mayada's network is unstable. If you had a copy of your presentation, you would do it as, you first open it before you share. Open PowerPoint, then you go to share.
No, Dr. Mayada, she has to open it, but let me open it from another place, please. Yes, now you see it?
Yes, we can see it now. Put it in
Okay.
play mode, presentation mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, there. Okay.
Yes. One of the main agreed upon point is to transform the country to feed its population and to extend to adjacent countries within period 2020 to 2030. This is the period for SDGs implementation. Investment is high needed in infrastructure, both for agriculture and industries, but it needs some support. Actually, we face with a lot of key drivers for food insecurity in Sudan. The most one is the climate change and climate variation. But we can resolve the consequences for these drivers and shocks by food diversity and production of stable food crop and sustainable production. This Sudan and these wealth of Sudan in agriculture, livestock, and everything. And these are the states of Sudan. Our work mainly in food security is based on how to implement the 17 SDGs and how to work according to food security pillars so as to attain the diversity in food and to improve the nutrition situation in the country. As I said that food security pillars now become 5 because they add to availability, access, utilization, and stability. The 5th one is the agencies. And we have a very good agency in Sudan to handle the issue of food security and nutrition, started from the Council of Ministers, High Council for Food Security and Nutrition. We have Food Security Technical Secretariat, which I am carrying, and we have direct and indirect relations with all other agencies, and also we have the same institution set up at the states. Now we started with 6 states. We have technical working groups to gather all the stakeholders, government, UN, and other organizations. I think they talk about the SDGs, so I have to skip this slide. Okay. The most positive impact for the transitional government who put improving food security and livelihood as one of the main priorities is the peace building and peace agreement, lift of sanction from Sudan, start loans removal, expected flow investment, transition government commitments towards food security and nutrition, and institutional document which represents the country priorities. Now the government is very committed to improve the food security and livelihood for the populations. As I said, one of the main key drivers for food insecurity is the economic crisis, like inflation, like hiring up and soaring up of food prices, stable food prices, which make extra people food insecure due to difficulties in food access. COVID-19 is also one of the key drivers which affect the 4 pillars of food security in the country. Climate change, as Prof. Abdelmunem said, climate variation also is another issue, based on diseases, water and sanitation. So this manifested the household already experiencing food insecurity prior to the onset of the crisis, and sinking to even deeper levels of food insecurity, and previously marginal food secure population may become food insecure. We base the analysis actually in what is called IBC, Integrated Food Security Case Classification. The recent analysis resulted in that 7.3 million people are under acute food insecurity, and this means in IBC 3 and above, and this need very quick intervention so as not to go to worse phases in IBC. In malnutrition, I think now in Sudan, the main problem is the stunting. And so we need to do quick interventions for improving for reducing the stunting rates in the country. I think these are the 2 issues that we have to raise in Food Summit conference, and we have to find resolutions for these problems. I do not go in this slide because many from you talking about the concept of food system, but I want to show you here that we link the food system in the country with the food security pillars. If you see the structure here, started from food production to consumption, and we group them according to the food security pillars. But added to what Prof. Abdelmunem said about the food value gain, also we have to include the stakeholders and the players in this chain, and they have to be very sustainable and very stable so as to improve the food system in the country. And these are the 5 tracks and the main goal of the conference. I think leaving no one behind is one of the most important goals that we have to achieve. Okay. As you said, we based our analysis to the food system and preparation to the summit by analyzing the 5 tracks that the last presenters talking about, or the previous one. Here we put our inputs for the summit in the same, the area, the 5 tracks, contributing or triggering factors which leave each track behind and need to be more sustainable, more resilient to achieve the SDGs goals. I'm not going to read all of them because we have to group them. This is the draft actually for the preparation of the summit. We have in food safety and nutrition, poor agricultural practices that need to be improved to improve the productivity and to diversify food so as to improve the nutrition situation in the country. We have some acts that it has to be updated and approved. Duplication in sampling for the analysis, and also the poor laboratories that are going to test food safety, starting from production to consumption. No integrated system to report foodborne diseases. So the suggested policies or interventions or actions to encourage the adoption of good agricultural practices, support extension services, review and streamline the sampling analysis of food products, strengthening the current foodborne diseases, because we need surveillance so as to, because there is no data about this disease related to food. The synergy, we are going to link or interlink the 5 tracks and where they can meet and where they can. So for this track, all the 5 tracks are included because we need to save our food in all the steps. For the SDGs, it's made with SDG 1, 2, 6, 7, and 9. For nutrition, as I said, prevalence of anemia, prevalence of stunting, high level of poverty, which do not enable the people to get diversified food, poor cultural practices, poor awareness by the best practices needed to be improved the nutrition. For the proposed policies, enhanced supplementary feeding, school health and nutrition feeding, antenatal and postnatal care, fortified complementary feeds, biofortification, deworming, community nutrition education. IYCF has to some intervention. The system, the information system for nutrition, technology transfer, and this we need the research center very well in these points. M&E system, enhanced income generating activities and awareness raising. It made with track 2 and 4. SDGs, I think from 1 to 15 is needed in this component of the tracks or this theme. The second one is shift to sustainable consumption patterns, poor agriculture, poor consumption practices, no diversification in food due to culture, besides the need or the access to this diversified food, severe macroeconomic difficulties, COVID-19 and its impact in all food security pillars in the country, poor household not able to have their food needs. The intervention needed is the reduction of overconsumption of sugar sweetened because it causes a lot of health problems, having per capita food waste. And by the way, we have a study in food loss and waste, and we find that through the value chain, there is a loss from 30 to 50. So we need a strategy to reduce the food loss and waste, mainly for the stable food crops and livestock, strengthening connection between consumers and producers, change consumption behaviors to diversify food, all the tracks SDGs from 1 to 17. Increased prices lead to poor consumption for diversified food, national poverty incidence in Sudan, high food losses, as I said, and waste. So we need some interventions here to increase diversity, to increase or to improve all food security pillars, defining mapping for key solutions, mobilizing young people. We need young people and women to be a big part in improving our food system, promoting social justice, the food industry, and also the same for the scenarios. The third one is nature positive food production system. We have low productivity, as I said, losses during the value chain, frequent change in strategies, poor enabling productive environment, gaps in agro-processing, low and non-diverse food production, absence of national land use, poor application of researches. We have a lot of researches, and Prof. Abdelmunem and his team, they are working very comprehensive, but we have to link the researches with extension, with producers, so as to apply these good researches to improve the productivity in the country. Here we have 3 pillars, but within each pillar we have a lot of intervention. So let me talk about the outlines of the pillars: protect natural system and protect areas from new conversion for food production, set aside some land and water back to nature. Sustainable, because here we are going to end with a positive natural production without any environmental, any degradation, any pollution, any contamination, to save our food and to save our people, restore and rehabilitate the degraded system, adopt practices to restore, protect, and manage natural resources. Also, it meets with all the tracks, and from 1, 7, 8 to 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 of the SDGs. Also, weak extension services, environmental impacts, insecure funding, changing policies, traditional means of production. This needs sustainable government, adapt and intensify knowledge of farmers and farmer advisories, promote marketing and processing, nature positive production, increase policy coherence, strengthen action and information, and empower rural areas and cross-farm cooperation, risk management, encourage organic agriculture, and investments highly needed in infrastructure, mainly the feeding roads and the industrial roads, and so forth, so as to improve the transportation of goods in all steps of the value chain. For the fourth one, advance equitable livelihood, injustice of policies, inequality among landowners and partnership, because we need a very concrete law for land use, unequal gender norms. So we have to resolve these problems by policies like participation of women in decision making. Actually, in Sudan, the women, they have a good share in food security, producing food, but it needs to be involved in decision making, in income, returns, and these issues. Also to involve youth, to encourage them to go to agriculture instead of other jobs. All tracks from 1 to 17 for SDGs. Environmental and natural disasters, impact of war and tribal conflict, which cause livelihood, unequitable livelihood, and this can be resolved by building productive capacity of producers, improve efficiency of farmers, address land tenure and rights problem, improve agricultural support services, improve system efficiency, improve infrastructure, as I said before. We have cross-cutting issues here like stakeholder capacity development, need for it, food-based nutrition, gender equality, peace, stability building, and voluntary guidelines for land tenure. all tracks and from 1 to 17, because livelihood is a cross-cutting issue through all the food system steps. The fifth one is build resilience to vulnerability shocks and stresses. Climate change is one of the main problems. Natural resource deterioration, conflict over natural resources, and mainly conflict between farmers and pastoralists in the agricultural season. Traditional production system need to be, we need to intervene, and by very concrete innovations and technologies, lack of mapping and information, poor institutional capacities, increased number of food insecure households, displacement of communities, like in the west part of Sudan, the past war, in the past government, marry a lot of displaced people who are already farmers or animal herders. So we need to settle these problems, support decision making, coordination with media for awareness raising, enhance coordination mechanism, establishment of sensory setup in all the country, capacity building, and enhance food security access. All tracks from 1 to 17 SDGs. Frequent quick onset disasters, inefficient vertical and horizontal coordination, limited access to agricultural inputs, limited food availability and access, shortage of water in some areas and in livestock routes, lack of legislations, and poor standard tools for data collection, lack of protocols of data sharing and communication. Enhanced role of pasture and rangeland also has to enhance the dialogue between farmers and herders to settle all these conflict issues. Establish, we have early warning, but it has to be improved and well-equipped and trained staff, improve disaster risk management through the whole system, and reduce the effect of climate change. And we need to have smart agriculture adapted to these climate change and vulnerabilities and variation, vulnerability mapping and analysis support resilience decision, all tracks and all SDGs. So
Dr. Fatma,
yes,
you are left with 5 minutes.
Yes, yes, thank you. We have to build agencies to change relations, to transform structure so as to achieve our goals. This is the last slide, so I can finish before my time. We need to translate 230 agenda into national plans. Sustainable development goals are called for action by all countries, both rich and middle countries. So we have as an actor for this food summit to gather and to coordinate at national, regional, and global level so as to come up with very concrete plans. And now we are going to develop a strategic plan from now to 2030 so as to achieve this intervention proposed. Forests are the lungs of the earth. For Sudan, we have to save our trees and to save our lives and livelihood. Thank you. Together to achieve food security in the country, together to make our country green, together to transform our livelihood to a sustainable welfare life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fatma, for your nice presentation, and which is very rich with information. Thank you so much. So let me introduce. Hello. So Dr. Fatma, would you please unshare your screen? Dr. Fatma.
Yes, yes.
Please unshare your screen. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I would love to present the Secretary for Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research, Prof. Sami Sharif, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, thank you very much.
Hello, Prof. Sami?
Hear me now?
Hello?
I am online.
Hello?
I am connected. I am connected. The problem is the sound, I think. I am online.
Yes, you can go ahead.
Yes, please. The floor is yours, please, Prof. You can go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, thank you very much for this opportunity. And I'm so pleased to join this dialogue about food security. And I hope that we can have some contribution to this important and crucial issue. Actually, my presentation, can I share? I'm sharing my presentation is the current situation in higher education and science, technology and innovation.
Prof. Sami, will you click on slideshow, please?
Now I am on slideshow. Now it is working.
For me, it's not yet seen as slideshow.
I'm sharing my screen anyhow.
Yes, we see it, Doctor.
Prof, there is a button on top written slideshow. Just click on it. On top, where there is file, edit, view, insert, format, slide, then slideshow.
On where does it?
Yes, on top. Yes, there.
Okay.
Prof, on top there, where next to file.
The top bar, Prof.
Where there is file and then edit, view on your document. Yes, go next. Go next. Yes.
Now it's okay.
You are seeing slideshow. You have just moved away from slideshow. There is a slideshow.
Yes, now I'm in a slideshow.
Not yet, Prof.
Not yet.
Please,
not yet.
You can click on slideshow. You have, I think it's not being clicked well. So please, would you click on it? On the slideshow, where up there on the top? On the top there. Yes, yes.
No. I see that.
So, okay, would you please continue like that if the slideshow does not work because we are running out of time?
It's okay.
Now it's okay?
Yes, it is okay.
Yes, it is very okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
What is yours?
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for the opportunity and giving me a chance to contribute to this dialogue about national food security and to highlight some of the issues that concern Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Technology and Innovation. We are sure that higher education and scientific research or science, technology and innovation support economical growth in general and system development in long term through 5 activities that professional training of the workforce that includes scientists, researchers, and other teachers, and also through to provide to generate knowledge, and that is one of the main activities of the universities and research center, knowledge and technologies, and to provide a platform to build and to adapt this knowledge for local institute and to contribute to sustainable economic growth, that is SDG 8 and poverty reduction SDG 5. So those are the 4 areas we are interested in higher education to provide, to help in the socio-economic development in the country. Actually, higher education have a vision, to provide, to be a driver and main contributor in achieving the sustainable development and prosperity of Sudan society, and to provide that knowledge and training to all qualified citizens, regardless of their race, region, and others. So that is current to our mission is to develop a higher education and scientific research system which is capable of producing transferring of knowledge, technology, and science. Well, that is based on completeness and in high quality innovation and effective contribution to the community development. Surely that will have to be with some values. Our values to achieve this mission is peace, freedom, justice, and social peace, and integrity of the knowledge, professionalism, innovation, accountability, transparency, respect to the nation, region, and international needs. So that is the vision, mission, and the values of the higher education sector in Sudan. Actually, the higher education in Sudan is started more than 100 years ago in 1902. By that time, when the Garden Memorial College is being established, and later it is the University of Khartoum in 1956 after the independence. And after that, we have a number of universities that are being launched: Cairo University, Durman Islamic University, Jazeera University, Juba. So if you get a milestone of the development in it started in 1902, and up to 1990, we have about 400 students per year. That is the annual enrollment to the different higher education institute. In 1990, we have a big increase in the number of institutes. That was called higher education revolution, and that making the nowadays in 2020 we are enrollment more than 180,000 students per year, and the total population of the all university and institutes is around 900,000 students all over the Sudan in different sectors. And we have at the moment 74 public universities and 108 private universities and college, 12 institutes and research centers, and 36 we have technological colleges. So yeah, we have a large number of since 1990 we have a large developed a large number of institutes being added. If it concerns the teaching staff, the total number of teaching staff in the academic staff in the all universities is about 16,615, and that includes lecturer about 40.6% with 67848 assistant professor, that about 38%, associate professor 26%, and professors that is about 5%. That makes a total of 16,615 staff members. Actually, female at the lower rank there for lecturers that is 47. For assistant professor, we have 34 of the staff are female. For associate, it's 21, and for professor, it's 12. Yeah, that means that we notice that the decline in the percentage of female staff as going for higher rank, and that issue should be considered and to be rectified. Also, we see the staff by disciplines. We notice that we have in social sciences and in agriculture, what interested in engineering. Agriculture, the number of staff is low compared with other activities, that is education and health. But we notice that, I'm going to see later, with these low staff members, still we have a high and low students ratio, because one of the main problems we are facing in higher education, students don't like to go to agricultural studies, and we have a lot of vacancies on that. I don't know, we have to study that situation. There is, it's not an attractive field of study. Also, we have a good number of staff in agriculture studies, but still, and have a good ratio, but still we have a very low number of enrollment for agriculture, enrollment also mainly for engineering, for medicine studies, and that is a real problem facing the higher education sector, that how to enroll more students in agricultural institutes all over. So we have a lot of vacancies on agricultural institutes. And if you go for the agriculture studies, about 60% of the staff are female, total about 2,000 staff members in agricultural studies. And okay, if you go for an enrollment, you notice that still we have a very low number of enrollment in agricultural studies compared with social sciences, health, education even. So the lowest is enrollment in agricultural studies, and always we have an equal balance between male and female for that. So if we notice agricultural studies, that we have 9,501, 10,000, so equal number of female students, male students mainly are equal, but still the total of enrollment for agricultural studies is very low, and that is a real challenge. We have to go back for our syllabus, for maybe the availability of jobs. So that is make us picture is not that nice. Very low number of enrollment in agriculture. Still, we have more than 80% of the economic in Sudan is based on agricultural activities. And so that is in private, that is in public universities. The lower graph chart is for private. And unfortunately, we have no agricultural college in private colleges. And all private colleges are maybe one or two out of that 108. And that is another issue. Private universities, they have no agricultural programs. So no students number, no programs in private universities, no enrollment. That makes this a real challenge to change this picture. Here we have some figures of the students in the public universities, number of students. And what we're interested in the chart on the right of the screen, we notice that still we have very good students that is one of the measure of the quality of education. While still we have a very good, if you look at the picture, we have a very good students to staff ratio in agriculture studies that about 10. And that's a very good ratio, but still is not given the fact that is due to the low enrollment. It's not due to real situation, low enrollment, given this high good ratio for students to staff. And that is, we are looking for about 20 or in African sub-Saharan, the average is 20 in all disciplines. So the ratio is good, but it's good because we have low enrollment, not because we have a large number of students and good programs. So this figure about 10 should be considered with concern, and some in health that is going to 17, in science 21, in engineering is 26. And
Sammy, you have 5 minutes left.
So we for research and scientific research, we have an H index of the Sudanese university is 27, and still that is very low, with a total number of applications around 400 applications in last 2018. So Ministry of Higher Education now is developing a strategy, and the main core of this strategy is to improve the quality of education, academic, and that based on qualified academic staff, public and private higher education, and to address important issues such as education, education management, education leadership, electronic learning, and that field should be considered seriously and to be developed even because the effect of COVID-19. So that makes the old way of teaching is almost impossible and unstable, quality and standard and of modern technologies. But if you consider the situation, we have restraints in science, technology, and innovation, existing funding of scientific research, sustainable research momentum, moderate number of qualified staff, moderate research infrastructure. But the weakness is absence of national strategy planning. We have no STI strategy, inefficient interest in certain disciplines, for example, agriculture, and that is one of the main challenges we have, weakness, and resistance to transformation process. We have a good opportunity and transformation associated with the change in the political change in the country and international cooperation. We seek it, we have a lot of cooperation we're looking for. And threats, we have migration of qualified academics, that the immigration and technical staff, that is a very serious threat to the process, and rapid inflation. Maybe it's a limited front for research available. So the study of education, we need to increase diversity in higher education programs, so have different programs, and even the program, for example, we are looking for, in Gadarif, we have program concerned with rain agriculture in Jazeera. So we tell us the program according to the script.
المناطق الاستراتيجية بالنسبة لنا في السودان في مجال التعليم زيادة التنوع في برامج التعليم العالي، وكذلك زيادة الأعداد
upgrading of the quality
التعليم في الجامعات السودانية، وكذلك رفع
research
كمية التعليم العالي في السودان
national agenda. So we look enhancing improving the output of scientific research, communication, dissemination, and utilization of research funding, ensure sufficient funding for scientific research. And if you go for government and management, we have to review our management system and government's leadership, governance, ministerial and institution level, universities and institute, teaching institute and research institute. And we are very interested in community development programs, so what we call it community development colleges. So we have programs for addressing rural areas, women in rural areas, and to give them knowledges and technologies to enhance sustainable development in this area. And we have in each university we have a college that concerned with that, and we hope that we will focus on that as an activity. Briefly and quickly, that is the situation in higher education. Thank you very much for your follow, and again I thank you for your attending this dialogue session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Sami, for your very informative presentation. And I'm not very surprised to see the number and the percentage of females equal or even higher than males at both levels, undergraduate and at postgraduate level, where the teaching staff fall. Thank you so much. And let's see how we could improve the numbers of agricultural students, because every objective for the Sudan to be developed country is basically depend on agriculture. And thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are so grateful. Basically, we would have gone to discussion session, but because of the time, allow me to go ahead and listen to all presentations, and then we close this session by the discussion before we wrap up. I hope this is a good plan, and allow me to start the next and present the next presenter.
That's okay.
Okay, so please let me share my screen. So the next presenter is Dr. Muna Al-Haj from University of Jazeera. And please allow me to welcome Prof. Muna. The floor is yours, Prof.
Thank you, Mayada. You hear me? Do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you, but you know, you need to raise your voice.
Okay, I will. Good morning, everyone. Let me share my screen. Good morning, everyone. Here we are. My name is Muna Al-Haj, working for Water Management and Irrigation Institute, University of Jazeera. Within coming 10 minutes, I'm going to present some emerging challenges for food security in Sudan. I'm focusing mainly on rain-fed agriculture. As we know from 2018, Sudan in transition period, facing multiple crises ranging from political, economic, health, climate, and environment. And this crisis, coupled with so many complex factors like climate change, natural hazard, conflict, and dramatic rapid increase in food prices. If we look for these two graphs, we found from last year the price of food increased dramatically, and like sorghum crop, the price is double, 3 times to 10 times in some Sudanese states. In general, the arable land, more than 74 million hectares. Out of this, 20% under rainfed subsector. Within this small percentage, the sector able to produce around 95 of millet, 90% of sorghum, and 100% of sesame production in Sudan coming for rain-fed area. This sector faces a number of challenges which restrict the opportunity for this sector to support the sustainable growth of the economy and the livelihood of the people in Sudan. Also, the rainfed sector face climate challenges. Rainfall amount decreased significantly. There is so many recurrent drought and floods. Also, there is so many environmental challenges and limited resource allocation for this sector. Also, there is lack for capacity and infrastructure, and also there is limiting enabling environment for business in rainfed agriculture sector in Sudan. The rainfed sector in Sudan extend from Kassala state, Gadarif, until west of Darfur in east part. The western part, Darfur area, we face conflict from long time, and this affects the contribution of this sector in GDP for Sudan. For my presentation, I'm going to focus on Gadarif area in the eastern part of Sudan. This area produces third of sorghum production, and also a third of sesame production. But this sector is not fully mechanized. They only use machinery for land preparation and sowing. There is only 2% under full mechanized, which makes the production of this area is very low. The sorghum is a stable crop in Sudan, and most of the Sudanese use sorghum for food. Among the top sorghum producing countries, Sudan is ranking number 3. Sudan ranking number 3 area-wise. But when we look for the production, Sudan ranking number 7 with only around 600 kilogram per hectare. If we see the area, Sudan has same area like USA, but USA produce fourfold Sudanese production, and this for so many challenges. I'm going to talk in the coming slide about these challenges. The first challenge is the rainfall. If we look for the rainfall from 1944 until 2018, the rainfall is there is dramatical change in the rainfall amount, especially during the Sahelian drought, which started in late 1960s. And the rainfall decreased from around 700 millimeter to less than 600 millimeter. And when we look for the deviation from long-term average, we found that from 1970, there is about 30 years below normal average, and this really affects the production of the crop in the rain-fed area. But still, as a sign for the climate change, there is so many. Also, there is so many years with high rainfall, and this may flood in some area in Gadarif state. Another factor is the temperature. There is a significant increase in minimum temperature and also in maximum temperature, and this increase starts from 1981 towards. Before that, there is a wet period, and there is no effect in the agriculture. The decline of the rainfall really affects the total area cultivated in Gadarif area. If we look for this graph from 1943, the harvested area, the planted area and the harvested area is the same. But when the Sahelian drought started, we found that there is an increase in cultivated area, but there is low harvested area. Sometimes there is half cultivated area not harvested, and this make a lot of losses for the productive. If we look for this graph, we see that the reduction of the rainfall had great effect on the productivity of sorghum, and there is so many years with low rainfall and with also low productivity. Like from 1990 until 2011, the productivity is below long-term average, but from 2012, there is recovery of productivity, and the productivity start to increase.
Prof. Mona, you have 3 minutes left.
Okay. Another factor is flood and heavy rain. During 2020, there is a flood which made damage for 50% losses of sorghum, 25% of sesame, and also the flood washed out 26.8% of the cultivated area in Gadarif. And during that flood, the livestock sector lost about 180,000 head. Another challenges for this area is environmental challenges. We can just summarize this in expansion of mechanized rain-fed, and this this expansion result in extraction of large area from rangeland in addition to another farming area, overgrazing due to expansion of mechanized agriculture. There is a small area available for animals. During the rainy season, 10 million heads of livestock stay in a small area in Gadarif and Butana area, and this increase the degradation of the land, and this lead to the desertification. Was the desertification reduce the range plant productivity? There is absent in palatable plant, there is appearance of invader plant, and also there is a lot of disease and insect in the area. And another factor, as the environmental challenge now appear in the rain-fed area, is the traditional gold mining activities, and it's spread very quickly over 21% of total of rangeland in Butana area and in Gadarif area. Most of the mining area use heavy chemicals like mercury, cyanide, and this the using of this chemical affects the soil, and also for the first time there is landslide in the Gadarif area due to digging of the mining for the gold. Another thing, most of the workers in the mining coming from agriculture area because they prefer to get very fast income rather to wait for cultivating and a small area, and after that they might be the rainfall not coming and they lose their money, and they prefer to go for mining. From the above, I think there is urgent need for sustainable natural disaster risk management, early warning and early action, building resilient agricultural livelihoods through strengthening the institutional capacity for various actors to be prepared for and prevent and manage the impact of climate and environmental hazard on agriculture sector and food system. This photo from the Gadarif and Butana area, and as we see, the area turned to desert due to the climate factor and environmental degradation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Mona, for addressing the emerging challenges from agroclimatology scientist background. And thank you so much for your very informative presentation. Please allow me to introduce the next presenter. If you would love, Prof. Mona, yes, thank you. So our next presenter is Mr. Tajuddin Abdullah Ahmed, and he is going to introduce the challenges from a very important point of view, from a farmer point of view. Prof. Tajuddin, please, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Mayara. And good morning, everyone. And thank you for the invitation for participation in this important, essential forum. And I have the pleasure to participate. Yes, I am from Gadarif. I will introduce about the smallholder farmers, which is a very important sector in Gadarif. I will share you with my screen first. This, I think. Yes, here is my presentation. It is about the smallholder farmers, which is a very important community of the Gadarif town of Gadarif state. As you know,
Mr. Tajuddin,
yes.
Please, we could not see your presentation. So if you click on it and then slideshow, click on your presentation to open, then click on slideshow.
Okay.
You have to stop sharing first and then reshare.
Stop share.
First click on stop sharing.
I do not see this sharing.
Okay, let me stop it for you.
Yeah, okay, stop it from there.
Okay, I've stopped. So you can now reshare directly the presentation.
Okay. Research, share, edition, view, file. Slideshow. Okay, Mayara, do you see my desk?
Not yet.
You have not shared.
Yes, please.
To share.
You click on share screen and then you select the presentation which is open.
Find the icon. The icon is hidden somewhere.
So, Ustaz Tajuddin, we cannot yet see your presentation. So I suggest you click on share screen down below in your desktop. Then you click on your presentation. Otherwise, you do the vice versa. You open your presentation first, then click share screen, then click slideshow.
Oh, okay.
There is a icon down there written from the beginning.
Just sharing a screen.
Yes, now you can put on a slideshow. You see on the top left corner below file, you can click on it and then it shows from the beginning that is there. You click on it. Oh, yes.
Yes, now you see it. Okay, that's good. Yes, my topic is about the smallholder farmers, and I am taking Gadarif State as a case study. Gadarif State is one of the biggest states producing food crops in Sudan. Maybe 1/3 of the sorghum produced in Sudan is produced in Gadarif State, and Gadarif State has a total area of around 14 million fidans. Part of it is under field crops, which is, for instance, sorghum, millet, sunflower, cotton, groundnuts, and we have 4 million as pastures, and we have about 3 million under horticulture crops and under forest. The annual rainfall is very good in the south. It is around 800 to 700 in the south, up to less than 300 in the north part of the state. The smallholder farmers are farmers who cultivate less than 500 fadans. This is by definition, according to the Mechanized Farming Corporation. They define the smallholder farmers as farmers who cultivate less than 500 fadans. And this sector of farmers represent around 94% of the farmers in Gadarif. And they own about 24% of the land, of the cultivated land in Gadarif. These farmers live in their villages close to their farms in about 12 localities. They practice agriculture. It is mechanized. It is called mechanized agriculture, but it is not fully mechanized agriculture. They only plant by the machine, and all the other practices is manual, mostly manual. And they produce animals in very small scale. They have limited access to markets. They have limited access to services, for instance, in the education, in the water provision, in the electricity, in the health, and the other services provided. They are limited access to these services. This is a main characteristics of the smallholder farmers I am telling about. This sector is facing a lot of complications. It is related to the level of production. It is related to the marketing. It is related to their income. About the production, they are facing low production per unit area. For instance, per fadan, they produce maybe 2 or 3 sacks per fadan, which is the sack is 100 kilograms, and they are not doing the appropriate farming techniques, maybe because of other reasons, maybe because of the availability of the inputs, or the lack of information, or the shortage of information, and maybe because of they are not using the appropriate input seeds, maybe because of the insufficient machinery, maybe of insufficient laborers, maybe also because of pests and diseases. We are suffering the Buddha, Strike Hermansica, and we are suffering Hamush in sesame. So these reasons collectively end up with low production per unit area. This is one of the complications. Another complication related to the quality produced, the quality of the sorghum, or the quality of the all the crops they are producing. It is not properly finished and to introduce to the consumers. And because of this poor quality, they are receiving low prices, and they end up with low income. Also, we have complications related to the prices because of limited access to markets, and this also leads to the low income. So I am suggesting here some way forward to improve this important sector of smallholder farmers. The problem should be viewed in a comprehensive context to improve the whole living situation. I would like to look at a holistic view about the problem and try to and to improve the whole sector of the smallholder, all the living situation. Okay. We have not to focus only on income increase of the farmers. Maybe income increase may not solve the problem. We have to view it from a holistic point of view. We have to focus on the sustainable use of natural resources and capacity building of the farmers. This is from my point of view. All the strategies and plan should involve consider these aspects. As from my suggestions, I would like to advise about some socio-economic development plans. One is to invest in human resources. I would like also to start with community mobilization, which is the gathering of the communities into a shared goals, specific shared goals with the whole community. They agree on the goals and they work together on the goals. This is community mobilization. And then let them identify their local, human, natural, physical, 5 resources: natural, human, physical, financial, and structural resources to improve it and to plan for the best management to realize their objectives. Also, I would like to suggest to establish civil societies and or cooperative societies as a base for the development. This will ensure the involvement of the community who will plan to solve their problems. And after the establishment of these societies, we would like to train these societies to introduce vocational training, to introduce livelihood projects, support livelihood projects, and make pilot projects, link with services providers, and we are in very need, in high need. Without this link, we cannot go out of this vicious cycle. Service providers for machinery, for seed, for fertilizers, which make the basic foundation for the improvement of this sector. We need to link to the financial insurance and institutions. We have to develop the infrastructure. We have to develop the research. We have to develop legislations which protect these development activities. We have to create the appropriate financial and economic atmosphere. This fluctuation in prices for inputs and outputs is not a good indication. Environment development, another aspect I would like to highlight the importance of this environment development. Working on this fragile environment with hot temperatures, with uncertain levels of rainfall will not help to develop this sector. So we are looking forward to have reforestation projects. We have to activate regulations to protect the existing natural resources. We are looking forward to plan for the best land use policies. Last word I would like to focus on, I would like the authorities to develop the farmers, and they will develop their agriculture. I'm very grateful and very thankful for you for introducing me and involving me in your very important forum. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ustaz Tajuddin, for your presentation. And actually, I cannot say more than your message was very loud and clear. Thank you so much. Now, please allow me to introduce the topic of food systems from another point of view. We have the point of enable youth for agriculture entrepreneurship program in Sudan. Dr. Saleh Khairallah is going to talk about food systems from the youth point of view. Dr. Saleh, allow me first to introduce you. Or please go ahead. Yes, go ahead and start your presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayada. Can you get me? Hello, Mayada.
Yes, please, we can hear you loud and clear. And we can also see your screen, your presentation.
Okay. Thank you. And let me first of all to say good morning for all those who joining this online platform to discuss the issue of food security system in Sudan, to be a part of the UN system. And also let me to say good afternoon for those who joining this platform from outside Sudan. I am very pleased for having me through this platform to deliver my presentation in the area of the making agriculture attractive for youth. And I think this is very hot issue right now, not only for Sudan, but across the world, because you know that is many of problem raised in the world because of the population of youth comparing to Is it clear for you guys?
You've been off, but can you try to, you could continue. We can see you, but sometimes we don't hear you.
Now can you see it?
Yeah, we can see.
Yes. Okay. This is just let me to give a very snapshot and introduction about the global population, which seem right now it is increasing rapidly, and this is increasing in the global population when compared with the increasing in the food security. There is a big gap, so there is no way. Only the world should focus on how they can innovate a solution and technology that it can increase the food to meet the demand on the food. Based on the United Nations predict that by 2050, global population will increase by approximately 2.5 billion people, with the majority of this increase occurring in the developing world. And you know that this is sub-Saharan countries and Asian countries. They represent maybe more than 70% of this total population. Much of this growth actually will be among the youth, who are expected to make half of the 2050 population. Due to this demographic shift, youth are extremely vulnerable to food insecurity. So for this reason, I think targeting the overall youth cohort is a promising way to address the development challenge associated with the decreasing food insecurity. In Sudan, when we come to Sudan context, we can see that over the last several years, the political attention has been given to the youth employment in Sudan, where the difficulties young people face entering the labor market are compounded by additional burden of large number of young people, in particular fresh graduate. When we talk about youth, also we have to talk about the fresh graduate who are engaged in precarious work, often in informal economy, this is a very big problem facing Sudan right now. What I think that the government should double the effort to make all the youth work in formal economy so as to get some sort of the tax from that formal economy. Youth unemployment and underemployment impose heavy costs in Sudanese society right now. And you can see right now the change that happened in Sudan. This is due to the voice of the youth that they are missing to get a job and missing to get the social status that it can meet their needs. This is just also a little bit information about Sudan youth situation. You can see that 60% under the age of 20. Out of this, if we go for the graduate from university in Sudan and college and institutes, annually there are 130,000 graduates annually. The guy from my colleagues, Dr. Sami Muhammad, he mentioned that I think the enrolled annually 180,000 students annually enrolled in the universities and college, which means that there is thousand graduates. This is human resources wasted without utilizing. You can see that unemployment among young people represent 40%, which is very high comparing to adult 25. And I think it needs to be adverse. How can youth contribute to SDG? When we talk about youth, also we have to talk, when we talk about the SDG, we have to talk about youth, because you know that is the youth right now, the leader of tomorrow. And then unless we involve them in the SDGs, we can't get them in the future to implement the SDGs objectives. For this reason, it is vital to raise awareness about the recently adopted 17 SDGs and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development among youth to build platform for discussion and create the condition for the active engagement. This is, I think, very important point that it needs to be taken in account. Youth and agriculture in Sudan. A little bit information about agriculture sector in Sudan. It is a significant in terms of the contribution in the GDP. It is come after services. It remains also leading sector for employment. It is almost 70% of the country working capital engaged in agriculture sectors. However, Sudan is losing more farmers every single day. And this is due to sector almost neglected, especially after the advent of the oil early 2000. And this case is actually making a lot of distortion in agriculture sectors. Historically in Sudan, we know that there was a belief for the selection of livelihood that if someone said excellent in farming, average life in business, waste in services. Nowadays, it is a totally opposite. If you want to go for the business, everyone, he can advise you, please go for services. No one can tell you that, please go for agriculture to do investment. And this is, it needs to be completely changed. This is the mindset right now going on. This has several implications for the future of Sudan agriculture and Sudan food security. Right now, some experts felt that there is a need to attract youth toward agriculture because they can play an important role in ensuring food security if they are encouraged to involve in farming and the challenges they face are addressed. Then only we can get back the youth to agriculture if some issues the government taken seriously and address these issues. The mindset in employment, many FUs, they don't believe in agriculture as a business. When you talk about agriculture, then they don't believe that they can do a business in agriculture. And this is really negative perception. It needs to be changed. Limited deliverable policy and legal framework that consider youth employment. When we talk also about agriculture as a business, we have to talk about the smallholder farmers. We talk about SMEs. Investment in Sudan context, there is no any legal framework for SMEs. And this is one of issues that hindering the youth to indulge, to involve in agriculture sectors. Limited access to market, Also, this is one of the issues that hindering the youth to engage in agricultural sector, because if they produce or if they want to do some sort of the business along agriculture value chain, they get some sort of the difficulties in terms of the market infrastructure, facilities, and information. Limited access to land, also this is a big problem right now. Land tenure, it is not only in Sudan, I think this is across African countries. Land tenure, especially for the youth, there is very limited youth can access to land. All the land owned by the adult and the families. Limited access to technology and innovation. This is need actually the finance. It need resources and accessibility to resources. Financial resources by youth, I think is very limited. Limited access to credit because of lack of collateral. Many youth, they don't have collateral to put it for the financial institution to get the finance. So this is a challenge facing the youth to engage in. So the government and also the development partners, they need to work hard to resolve these issues to make agriculture attractive for the youth. Sorry. All the previous government underscored the importance of agriculture in policy debates shaping the future of agriculture, and agricultural research for development really involve the youth. And this is actually the problems. How can we plan for agriculture and we don't involve the youth in as such planning? And we know that the youth, they should be a part of this policies development. It is time for the voice of the youth has to be heard. I think this is very important time, and from this platform, I send my message that right now I think the voice of youth should be or must be heard. The effort of the government and some of development partners in the area of youth engagement in agricultural sectors, especially when we talk about transition government here in Sudan, currently implementing political and socio-economic reforms, and it is prioritizing youth development project and program. There is some sort of the priority for the youth development project and program going on to be take some sort of the youth on board to do some sort of the business and to create a job for this is over the next 10 years. The Sudanese government will need to create decent job for entrant on the labor market and equip them to achieve their goal if does not want to see them involved in illicit activities. So as creating job opportunities for the youth in top national priority, the government of Sudan was among the first countries in the continent to express keen interest in implementing Enable Youth program. Right now in Sudan, there is a program called Enable Youth, and this Enable Youth actually implementing through the government of Sudan and supporting from African Development Bank. The main objective in this program to create a business opportunity and decent employment for young men and women along priority agricultural value chain, because we don't need to focus only in the production sites. We have to focus along the agricultural value chain, because sometimes there are a lot of production, but some sort of distortion along the value chain, it needs to be addressed, and some sort of the actors, it needs to be also put it in the right track along this value chain. So the program focused on the agricultural value chain. Youth in agribusiness, when we talk youth in agribusiness, we have to talk about enabling environment for youth empowerment. This is one of the main focusing for the program. And also to make some sort of awareness creation and policy enhancing, because without awareness creation among the youth to see agriculture as a business, they cannot come to do a business in agriculture. Without enhancing policy to make agriculture sectors more attractive, they cannot come to do a business in agriculture. Entrepreneurship and agribusiness incubation, because you know that many of the youth, especially when we talk about the graduate, because they are graduate from the university, they are focusing in the job. They don't believe in self-employment. So the sense of entrepreneurship, it need to be built. So the program right now focus on building the entrepreneurship by more focusing on agripreneurships, business development and financing, and this is also through risk sharing and finance mechanism that is enable you to access to finance. Why the program focusing on agribusiness? Need for new paradigm for agribusiness. You know, that is when we talk about agriculture education and training. Yes.
Please, you have 2 minutes, please.
Okay. Also, the program right now is not focusing on agriculture and education training. It's focused on agribusiness education and training, and also the program doesn't focus in discipline, focusing on professionality, and also focus on market-centered rather than government-driven. The program also focus on market-oriented rather than production-oriented, and the program always tries to go for applied research rather than basic research. This is when you talk about agribusiness. Innovative financing for youth agripreneurs. Actually, the program also established what's called risk sharing and finance mechanism. This is to enable youth to access for finance, because you know that the financial institution here in Sudan, they cannot give a loan or credit for youth unless they put a collateral. And you know that youth, they don't have a collateral. So the program built this risk sharing to make credit available for youth with a very less interest rate, or you can say that is the profit margin here in Sudan. Need to go quickly. Ways to engage youth in agriculture. There are so many issues need to be addressed, but you can just see it in the screens. I cannot go through because the time is very limited, but it needs to be also taken in mind that is demystifying the negative myths about the agriculture, negative perception. As my colleague, the previous speakers from university, he said that is the law and rule in the university, in agriculture sector, in agriculture college, comparing to another social sense, very, very small. Yes, this is because of the social culture. That is, they don't believe that agriculture can be attractive, it can be a good for the job. So this mindset need to be changed. Include youth in policy decision making and implementation. It is very important right now, that is to take the youth in policy decision and planning. This is roadmap. You can also, we can share this presentation with others that go through. I cannot go through. There is some sort of the point that need to be taken in account when we need to put a roadmap for the youth to be engaged in agricultural sectors, especially education and training, access to resources, employment, market access, and organization for the youth. They should have a good organization that allows them to talk on behalf. Conclusion, there is a need for attracting and retaining youth in agriculture in Sudan. For this urgent need is realized to develop attractive strategy and policy by the government for attracting youth to our agriculture. The availability of low-cost input, technical assistance, training availability of draggery, reducing machinery, arrangement of maintenance of machineries, capacity building, provision of farmer-friendly market linkage, value addition producer, tie up with local institution, encourage meant to the export of agro products and practical-oriented agriculture, higher education system. This is very important, higher education system, because we need to focus on job creation, not for the graduates who look for a job, because the government cannot make all the graduates to get a job in a public sector. So the education system, they should focus on the agribusiness rather than agriculture curriculums. The government of Sudan, through the Board of African Development, has implemented Enable Youth Sudan program. However, more critical efforts are expected to attract youth to our agriculture as profession, not only to feed the stomach of population, but also for sustainable agriculture and for business and development. This is briefly my presentation. I can share it with you. Thank you for giving the time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saleh, for your great presentation. And I know now everyone among us and the participants have a lot of questions. I know we should have had two. Please allow me due to time shortage. We want to close our event on time. But please, down below the screen, there is a chat. You can click on it and please write your question, and the panelists and all the speakers will respond. Also, there is another way you can also click and to write your question specifically to one of the speakers if you like. So please just hold your questions or write them down there and they will be answered. So our next presenter is Dr. Ali Musa from the Arab Organization for Agricultural Development to talk about the role of the organization for ensuring success of participation of the Sudan in the pre-UN Food System Summit dialogue. I thank Dr. Ali. So, Dr. Ali, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Prof. Mayada. I hope everyone is like hearing me now. First, let me start by thanking all the organizers who make this dialogue and this discussion possible. I thank the team from Sudan and also the like ARC and the forum and the people from the Ministry of Agriculture. And in fact, we are really like eager to hear something like this one coming, and the people are interacting and also mobilizing the community to make them engage on this very important coming event. So I am very grateful and thank you for the organizer to give me the chance also to give the views or the talks about the role of Arab Organization for Agriculture Development in helping the national team of Sudan in preparing or in the early stage of engaging in UN Food System Summit. Thank you. And if possible, Mayada, could you share my presentation that I sent to your email? Because I'm attending from my phone and I was not able even to download it from the internet. Mayada? Hello?
Okay, yes, Dr. Ali, yes, please. Let me just get the presentation. Let me retrieve the presentation from my system. 1 minute, please.
Okay. So maybe while the Professor Mayada like opening the presentation, I will start by talking from my hard copies here, and I just like make the point like to just draw attention for my colleague in Sudan, and I'm speaking with the two hats as Sudanese, like much concerned about the issue of development of Sudan and all those issues like prevailing now worldwide and regional in the regional context, and also as an employer representing the Arab Organization for Agriculture Development. Sometimes you say like find us more sparing, and we must spread to find that now we come back to the international community, and we need our country to move faster, to join hand with all other partners to have the real progress that we need. So let me start by saying that this use the UN Food System Summit. It is a great opportunity for us in the Arab region or in Sudan in particular to engage that they're taking into the account that the main purpose of this summit is to transform the food system. And the food system itself, like something like very comprehensive art, like including group of things, like starting from the production and processing, and also even the consumption of food. And the consumption of food, as we know, it also, if we pick it, it has many things, like the food losses and waste and whatever, the handling, and even the trade and whatever aspect that lead to the consumption. So the issue is not easy, and it needs the involvement of multi-stakeholders at all levels. And at the national level, as we are talking about, the responsibility will come to the government institutions and the community to move and to interact with others to identify where is the problems and where that need to be solved, where we're facing challenges, as it at the production level or marketing or processing or even the consumption. So the engagement should be huge and also should be serious. AOAD, as Arab Organization for Agriculture Development, and talking about the Arab region, it started from the beginning, engaging with other partners to help its member states like to get benefits from the outcomes of this summit. So in the light of the 5 main objectives of the summit, from the ensuring the access to safe and nutritious food, up to building the resilience to the vulnerability and shock, OAD has engaged with other partners and proposed certain like strategies for preparing for this engagement. So OAD, in collaboration with partners, organizations, including ASQA, FAO, IFAD, WFP, World Health Organization, and Reform, have identified relevant action tracks according to the summit areas, region priority actions, and pathways for changes in the Arab region. And that is already, as people, our colleague from the forum, we are planning meeting on 10th of June, and also to discuss some issues related to the summit in the Northern Africa and the Middle East. So the engagement is there. So OAD has chosen to contribute to the 5 main tracks, which cover all the aspects, the 5 aspects, with concentration on to boost the net share positive production at all member states. That is 22 countries.
Hello?
Hello? Are you hearing me? Brothers?
I'm back.
I can hear you. Are you hearing me?
Hey. Yes, I am back now. I'm so sorry. I had some shortage on the internet. So please, yes, I am hearing you. I would love to ask you, on what slide are you now? Number what?
No, and now I'm at the slide.
Hello, Dr. Ali.
Yes.
Dr. Ali.
Yes. Hello. Mayada. I'm at slide 4.
Number 2.
Slide 4. Hello? There is connection.
You are on slide number 2. Is it what I have shown?
Mayada.
Is it what I've shown?
I just finished with slide 3. Hello, Mayada. That is a great, really problem. Hello? Hello, colleagues?
Yes, hello, Dr. Ali Musa.
Yes?
I think we have lost Professor Mayada, but I think you can continue.
Okay, so I'm just talking about the OAD engagement for the preparation to the summit 2021, and in the light of the 5 main objectives of the summit, we find ourselves that we have engagement on all of them, with a special emphasis on the track number 3, objective number 3, which is boosting nature positive production to the sufficient scale. And OAD, in collaboration with partners, organizations, including ESCOA, FAO, Forum, WFP, and others, we have identified relevant priority action according to the action tracks that have been identified, and also the pathways for the change in the Arab region. And OAD choose to us and to contribute to the 5 main tracks, because our strategic plan is aligned with that of the Agenda 2030, and also the 70s SDGs, and because of that, we find ourselves that this task is already part of our strategic plan. So we concentrate on the nature positive production, and also the other tracks. So, and by helping all the member states under the umbrella of the Arab Organization. So Sudan, as member state, hosting the Arab Organization for Agricultural Development in Khartoum, will be benefiting from all planned activities. And also we will give a special attention to the situation of the Sudan now. And you see, as Sudan now is starting a new way of engaging with other development partners, and also having to furnish a good relation with the international world. So we are ready also to be involved on all aspects that lead to like the Sudan engagement in this UN Food System Summit. OAD is ready to provide technical support to the government of Sudan and the community to help the national team in its preparation to the summit 2021. That now, and as I'm attending this event, I was not aware that there is already ongoing huge work in Sudan, and there are many people who are engaged and leading the issue of the national dialogue. And I'm happy, really, that the things are going. But I want to quote, and a statement has been told by Professor Abdul Munem. We do not want to be isolated Iceland in our work. We need to work together. And also, many things can be solved when people are coming together, when hands are coming together. So please, colleagues leading the Sudan national team, also you need to these things to share it with other people who are seeking to help and to assist on this issue. And we are ready at AOD. we are ready to contribute and to participate and to push things forward. Also, OAD follow up with Sudan national team before, during, and after the summit to ensure that Sudan has benefited from the summit outcomes in collaboration with other partners, including Reform and WFP, FAO, and ASQA. So this is our view, how we are going to to help Sudan, and I want to ensure that we have the diversity of expertise who are being involved here or employed here in the AOD, and we are ready to share experience with other colleagues in the different disciplines that are related to OAD work. With this, I want to thank you all and wish you best deliberation, and also the people to reach the final conclusion that helps Sudan to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ali, for your contribution and for accepting to participate in this event in this very short time. Thank you so much. We so much appreciate. And we would love to see the organization, especially during this time when the Sudanese are leading the organization, are doing a lot to Sudan. We are also expecting a lot from you and from Professor Al-Dukhari. And please convey our greetings and warm regards to him, as he is busy at this time on another meeting. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Please allow me to invite Professor Mohammed Mahjoub from the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research to give us a speech on the perspectives on human capital development and research needs for Sudan. Professor Mohammed, the floor is yours.
Hello.
Yes, hello, Professor Mohammed. We can hear you.
Okay. So just a minute, I want to share my presentation. So please, you see my presentation?
Yes, we do.
You can see? Okay.
Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. First of all, First of all, I want to thank you for this invitation. I think it's a very important issue to talk it and to discuss about the food security and the prospect on human capital development and research needs for Sudan. I will go quickly because Prof. Sami talked about the vision and the mission of the Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research. But I want to stop here because the Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research have a strategy. We have 10 strategy, but I want to concentrate about the 5, 6, 7, and 8 priorities of this strategy because it's related to scientific research. One of most, I think, important challenges is how to coordinate between the institution in Sudan because most of these institutions work alone. No any coordination, no any collaboration between these institutions, private sector or public sector, and even the NGOs. So one of these priority is aligning scientific research activity with the national agenda, enhancing and improving the outputs of scientific research, ensure sufficient funding for scientific research, and communication, dissemination, and utilization of research finding. Actually, scientific research aims to increase the economic growth rates as well as build knowledge society. Actually, scientific research is not limited to scientific degree or academic promotion. So because today, where it is based on competitiveness based on the output of scientific research. Scientific research is a pillar for the national strategy. Without scientific research, will be using of their innovation, consumer of their products, following of their direction, constrained by their policies. So it's very important to have a good research with a good outcomes to help the economic and the community service. This is the structure of STI in Sudan. It's including under ministerial level, we have Minister of Industry, Ministry of Agriculture, and Minister of Higher Education, private sectors, and ICT. It's very important to include in this structure is ICT, because we have also a shortage in database. And this is the organizational structure of Minister of Higher Education. There is a National Council, there is ministries, there is universities, also there is research centers, there is many activities and many committees working under this umbrella. So here we have Minister of Higher Education, there is a scientific research and innovation, there is directorate. We have more than 7 or 8 centers. We have universities and research centers. Okay. Here the General Directorate of Scientific Research and Innovation. It's one of the bodies established in 1970 with the purpose of supporting and sponsoring scientific research in university, institutions, and research centers affiliated to the Ministry of Higher Education. This directorate has worked through the following issue. One of these are annual research funding program that is provided by the state budget to support national priorities. Also to support the fund provide for the finance support and infrastructure, and also the running activity of the research which submitted to this General Directorate. Also, one of the objectives of this directorate is strengthening links between research bodies and agricultural, industrial sectors in the country and outside of the country to support research activities and promote research finding. Also, one of the objectives is to supporting establishment of center of excellence, research chairs, incubators, and research groups through finding and research awards. This you see in this slide, there is a research chair, there is an infrastructure, there is a center of excellence, there is an incubators, there is a research program, and it's one of the, I think, most important program is the young researcher and post doctor program for actually for the young researcher, because for sure we need to support the young research in university and research centers. We have also some collaboration with another institute outside of Sudan. We have a collaboration with a French embassy. We have a program called NAPTA program. And NAPTA program is a mobility program between the researcher of Sudanese and French researcher. Also, we have support one of the most activity in this directorate is a STI observatory. Maybe I have a slide. I will talk in details. But I want to talk about the current situation here in Sudan. First, the strengthening is a proliferation of research station, increase in institution of higher education, increase in postgraduate training, increase and diversity of research center, existence of scientific body for scientific research and innovation, and I mean the General Directorate of Scientific Research and Innovation, and relative increase in funding for research. This is a strength for the current situation here in Sudan, but we have a lot of weakness. One of these weakness is the absence of national strategic planning, and we have a poor funding for the research in Sudan because previously the ministry gave a low fund from the Minister of Finance. A little bit this year the fund it was increased, but actually not as we want. Also, one of the weakness is the difficulty obtaining information, and this is one of the more obstacle for the research, because without data we can do nothing. Because if you have available data, you have we can know the current situation of your projects, and we can work on the or you can fill the gap for the previous research which were done previously. Also, we have one of the weakness is weak coordination and coordination between the institutions in Sudan, and even in Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research. Also, we have a weak mechanism for technology transfer, and this I think one of the most important issue. Because technology transfer is very important for the agriculture. And also, yeah, maybe you have facing this problem. We have many researchers, many teachers go outside Sudan. I mean, the brain drain. And also, most of the lab lacking of the infrastructure. I mean, like equipment and training for the technical technicians, like that. One of the opportunity of the scientific research is the presence of information exchange platform. Some universities have a platform, but we want to more platforms so as to available data for the researcher. The presence of joint research projects and the presence of some center of excellence. And now we have some collaboration with USA, and they ask about the research center or the center of excellence and the research consortium, because a research consortium work as a group. It contains a multidisciplinary disciplines, so they can work together from different institutions and different organization, and that is new for the Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research. Previously, the Minister of Higher Education worked alone, but now they established a research group, and one of the objectives of this research group is to work together, as my colleague said, work together as a one hand. So is this is idea for the consortium of the research group. So also there is a threats. One of these threats is the migration and rapid inflation and weak information for development and weak production and productivity for in agriculture sectors. Okay, this is the situation of or the distribution of our university in Sudan. I think in each state we can find, or you can find university. So it's easy to find a partner in each state. We have 36 university, and we have also more than 100 university and college in Khartoum, and we have 20 technical college distributed in Sudan, and also most of it can easily find a partner in each state, and also we need to talk or to strengthen or to support the technical education for the agricultural field, because I think it's we have lacking for the improve these sectors. I will move of this slide because Prof. Sami talked about that. This our center of excellence. Here, Minister of Higher Education support the center of excellence in university and research centers, and they gave him money, they gave him a training, they gave him and even some exchange program between the university here and outside of Sudan. And if you see to the this slide, you could find some research center related to this seminar or this workshop. One of these is the Gum Arabic and dissertation is
Prof. Muhammad? Hello? Prof. Muhammad? I can't hear you. Okay. Looks like we lost Prof. Muhammad.
Yes, he's off.
Is anyone here? Is he Prof. Muhammad?
No, he has lost connection.
Oh, okay, okay. So I wonder if because his presentation is very interesting, and I know he has very nice closing remarks for the presentation. So I wonder if we could go forward.
Yes.
Yes.
Or we wait for him.
No,
we can go forward.
Maida, I think you can
Yeah, Oli. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. So I facing some technical problem here, but now I can.
Yes, we are so happy that you are back with us. So
Okay.
please, the floor is yours still.
Okay, please.
Prof. Muhammad?
Yeah. Okay. So please, you see our my presentation?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So 1 minute, please. Okay. I hope it's okay now. You can see my presentation. Hello?
Yes, we see.
Yes, we hear.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
we can hear you, please.
Yeah, I think we talk about the Center of Excellence, and also we have research chairs. All of this program, I said, it was funded by Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research. This slides talk about the main activity in Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research. We talk about the consortium. And a consortium is one of the big activities. One of the criteria of this research group is to work together. It's a multidisciplinary. It's include different institution, different organization from inside the ministry and outside of the ministry, and also the NGOs. It's a big program with a big fund. We have many research group funded by Minister of Higher Education. One of these research group is food security, and also we have a research group in forestry products, and also we have a group in a goat research. So this is one of the most important program. The other program is the incubators, and incubator is a bridge between the researcher and the private sectors or the business. And also we need more training, more awareness about this program, because I think it's very important program for and even for the young researcher, because here we conducted many workshop to learn the researcher about this incubator, and these are the incubators which were funded by the Scientific Research and Innovation Authority. Here is the research priorities. One of these priority is agriculture and food security. And this is the research potential in Sudan. I will move quickly because I have, yes. We have a potential in Sudan, and some region have a potential in sorghum and sesame, and the other it's potential in gum arabic and camel research and oil seed and millet, like that, and animal production. So there is a diversity in our region and our states. So this is we have 8 priorities. We have 8 national priorities in Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research. One of these is food security, and if you see to the matrix, we have projects. We have different projects like improving the quality and productivity of agriculture and forest crops and aquatic biology and medicinal plants. And also we need to update the policy and legislation, regulation, as well as analytical study the current situation for the food security. And for sure, it's one of the most, I think, items here or agenda is the establishment of food security database platform, and the update the technology transfer also an innovation mechanism. If you look to the partner, we have public sectors, we have ministries, all of the related ministries are
Hello? Hello, Prof. Muhammad. We still can't hear you. Hello? Is everyone else cannot hear Prof. Muhammad? Okay, so we lost him again. So I suggest we give him like a few seconds. Or what do you suggest? The floor. So I suggest we continue.
Yeah, Dr. Mayanda.
I suggest we continue because of the time shortage, please. On the same time, I would like to highlight this point. There are 2 points down there at the bottom of the screen where people could share their questions, insights, or notes, or greetings, or anything they would like to share. They could share using these 2 buttons down there. If you look at your screen down there, there are 2 points or buttons, chat, and then Q&A. Q&A is a question and analysis. And chat, you could share notes and anything you would love to share, which could enrich this meeting. We thank Prof. Muhammad very well. Actually, his presentation was very, very rich. I see a lot of data, a lot of analysis, and I'm sorry that he could not conclude his remarks, but I am sure he would come back with us shortly. So please allow me to invite Prof. Abdullah. Prof. Abdullah is our is going to wrap for us this meeting and give us the summary of the emerging issues and for consideration by the Sudan government. Prof. Abdullah is a professor of economic entomology and pest management in the Faculty of Natural Resources, University of Kurdistan. He was the former dean Faculty of Natural Resources and Environmental Studies at the University of Kordofan. Recently, he was appointed as the director of the Quality and Strategic Planning Unit in the same university. He also served as a dean at postgraduate studies and scientific research at the same university. Prof. Abdullah holds a PhD in agriculture from University of Khartoum, Sudan. Currently, Prof. Abdullah is working at the Faculty of Natural Resources at the same university. So, Prof. Abdullah, the floor is yours. Prof. Abdullah?
Hello, Mayada. Hello.
Prof. Abdullah.
I'm hearing you, but do you hear me?
Hello?
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 Hello? Yes, with you, I'm with you. I'm hearing you very well. I'm hearing you, Mayada.
So please, the floor is yours. Please, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm with you. You are hearing me? Okay.
Yes, we are hearing you.
Okay, Mayada, thank you very much. Let me share my screen. Okay, I'm just going to give a brief summary. It is direct editing. Yeah, and first, thank you very much for the organizer, and the protocol is reserved to whom it may concern here in Sudan or in Reform Uganda. It is the first time, I think, to bring on board in one boat academia and research scientists and the main stakeholder in the Ministry of Agriculture and the private sector and so on. So I think it is a good opportunity to tackle the issue of food system as a prerequisite for the coming UN summit. So I think people first, they speak and cover everything. They are concentrating sometimes on the four pillars of the food system: food security, availability, accessibility, and utilization, which governed by certain factors as appeared in the screen. Biotic, abiotic, man-made factor, and so on. And they reflect about the potentialities of Sudan. And this map is Sudan before 2011. Before the secession of South Sudan, you can see the different ecological agroclimatic zones which reflect the potentialities of Sudan in agricultural production. And therefore, I'll just prepare a little strategic analysis because I missed during the presentation some points concerning the strategic analysis which reflect the strengths and weaknesses. One of the most important strengths is that we have high potentialities and we have diverse agroclimatic zones, and we have a huge natural resource base, especially in the arable lands and water, and human resource, skilled human resource or qualified human resource, and geopolitical position of Sudan, which is the bridge between the African countries, Arabic countries, and Africa South Sahara and Africa North Sahara. Yet there is some weaknesses as traditionality of production and lack of infrastructure like feeder roads and so on. Production and productivity need to be transformed, and land tenure is the problem. Urbanization, because most people live rural area to urban area, and we have poverty, yet we have to map the poverty zones and so on. Conflict of internal unrest and conflict in some areas, which lead to some displacement and the takeover in agriculture sector. Opportunities, there is a great opportunities like markets and demands, the ever increasing demand or foods neighboring non-coastal area, because some landlocked countries, Sudan is an outlet or represents an outlet for this country, and the attraction of investment recently as a result of making some legislations that support the investors or attract the investors. Some scenarios like transborder smuggling of some crops, some food products, and so on, and the refugees. You know that Sudan is hosting around 10 million refugees, and the drought episode, the recurrent drought episode that hit Sudan. This some sort of animal wealth. Sudan ranks second, I think, to Ethiopia as far as animal wealth is concerned, and it is geopolitical position also. Let it important country for export of this animal or these livestock. And we have a famous acacia, but yet this is ridden by pests and diseases. Crops that are a limiting factor, like pests. Some areas are very prone to pests and diseases. So also the drought that can make shortage in the natural pasture. So there is some overgrazing on some trees and some agricultural lands and so on. So as the keynote messages, I can easily deduce that Sudan can easily be the food basket for Africa and the Middle East as well if the food system is transformed. Mainstreaming of universities and research center in the improvement of food system of Sudan, it is a bonus and it is indispensable. Of course, it is not just a bonus, it is indispensable because you know that we were generally in an isolated islands. Those who are in research, they are perhaps the same problem be tackled in the universities, and so need to make some arrangement and to make a platform to bring together Ministry of Agriculture, Research Center, ARC, and universities, and to make harmonization of this research for transforming of the food system in Sudan. Improvement of scientific and science and technology and innovation ecosystem, and all these to be oriented towards agri-business if it is in the sector of agriculture and food industry. So it should be the driving engine. Science and technology and innovation should be the driving engine for the food transformation. Provision of supporting infrastructure is of great importance. So there is a need for paved roads and feeder roads in the production area, and involvement of involvement or encouragement of young people or youth to undertake agribusiness. And this should be linked with those with university outputs, because you know that in the universities, and I'm speaking with the heart also as well as the chairperson in the scientific committee in the higher education responsible for faculties of agriculture, faculties of veterinary medicine, faculties of rangelands, and faculties in the agriculture sector generally. So we have to revise our curriculum, that this curriculum, all the curriculum should, all the subjects should be taught with special background supporting agribusiness activity. So we graduate a qualified person, but it is qualified to be an officer and to work in the office. Yet we need to change our mindset to orient our graduates towards agribusiness, and also to orient them for job generating, not only just to undergo business, just make agribusiness that generate jobs opportunities. Also, we need to make some sort of strategies to mitigate and to adapt with climate change. Keynote continuation, mainstreaming of private sector is of paramount importance in this transformation process of food system in Sudan. And I wish if Mr. Wajdi Mahyoub is here, because he is one of the pioneers, private sector invest in the area of agriculture with scientific ways and means. Also, we have to provide an arena to integrate and harmonize activities of different actors, not to work in isolated islands. A prescribed provision of prescribed decision-making framework to determine action to be taken in case of crisis. So we have to provide a decision-making support system that rehearsing different scenarios in case of crisis, in case of drought spell, in cases of any crisis, we have to have a prescribed decision-making framework. Enhancement of production and productivity by improving inferior quality and land case. This point is, there is a paradox because we are in need to improve our low productive land races, yet we have to consider these land races adapted to our environment. So this point should be taken with a certain awareness. Also, we're supposed to make studies targeting the value chain analysis for food and crops to develop value chain for each crops and so on, and to make value additions, because you know that one of the most problem that we have no value addition activities. At most, our products is exported as raw material without value addition, and this encourages some smugglers, and some neighboring countries can re-export our products, especially those which to the large extent are of high quality as organic products. Our meat and our crops at most is produced under organic farming condition, and they are sold overseas and trans-border as organic farming, which they say that they originated elsewhere in the neighboring countries. So this to stop the smuggling of crop and our food items, we have to have some value addition to make some sort of processing plants or factories. Also, capacity building for different stakeholders in different institutes and so on. And we have some skillful persons, and we have qualified our resourceful persons, yet we have to train them to be oriented towards food transformation in Sudan. And there is, you know, Professor Muhammad Mahjoub, he says that there is no natural strategy. The strategy is there, and there is a lot of conferences and released recommendations. The problem is that we leave them in shelves, no implementation, and even for the legislation, no enforcement of legislation. The legislation is there, but need to be enforced. The strategies is there, need to be implemented.
Prof. Abdullah?
Yes. And one.
Prof. Abdullah, we are running out of time.
Okay, this is the last. I think this last keynote.
Yes, we are just running out.
Yeah. Okay. Enhancement of forest sector. Political decisions should stand on technical and scientific base. Zonation, making special zones for different, like zones for Dura, zones for sugarcane, zones for and so on, and to have access to land and to revise the land tenure and land market and technologies to market agriculture. To make it attractive to use, also finance and to be available in due time, transforming all steps of food system production and process and consumption. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. Abdullah, for your summary. It was very rich. Thank you so much. And I hope people are still asking questions. I'm seeing people actually are still asking questions, and they are interacting really very high. I can see the questions thrown. Now I would love actually to invite, I'm seeing actually Prof. Adibala, the Executive Secretary of the Forum, has joined the meeting. I would love actually to invite him to give us a few words.
Thank you, Mayada. Thank you to all the colleagues in Sudan. Thank you to all those who are listening. I came in late, but I picked quite a number of issues from your presentation. I want to thank all of you for attending the meeting. I also want to thank you very, very much for very, very rich presentations. One of the opportunities these events have helped us is to learn about what is happening in each of the countries. And what you always see is that there is great opportunity, but we need to pull our acts together. And what that requires is collective action by various individuals and institutions. You could see and hear the vision from the Ministry of Agriculture. You could hear the vision from the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research. You could hear what the Agricultural Research Corporation in Sudan is doing. And then you could hear from the perspective from the universities. It was a very, very educative session for me. And I think I like the analysis of the current situations and issues in Sudan. They are very, very well elaborated. Also, there were very good suggestions of possible interventions that could be undertaken. I appreciated very much the elaborate presentation on what we need to do to deal with the youth issue, because that is a big, big issue across the continent. I also appreciated the presentation that focused on really helping and improving the productivity and the resilience of the smallholder farmers. That was very, 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 very informative. Also, I listened to how you are dealing with some of the emerging challenges, such as the issues of climate change, the strategies you are looking at for promoting inclusivity, the strategies you are using in terms of ensuring adequate research capacity and human capital development. I particularly noted the ambitious plans you have for establishing very strong research centers, centers of excellence, and I think and other programs. I think that is the way to go. But we still have underlying challenges in spite of the fact that you have a high girl student recruitment at the lower levels. You see that as we move upwards, there's very, very limited women participation. So we still need to give more participation in that. I also noticed that you largely have pretty people like of my age that made the presentations. So that means we have a challenge of bringing a young generation quickly into the research and teaching institutions and others. We must have a replacement strategy. But above all, I really love to hear the confidence and the belief that we can do it, but we need collective actions and we need policy support that includes, among others, strategic investments. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I hope at the end of this, Mayada and the group, you'll quickly put the report, enter into the United Nations Food System Summit, and then prepare a statement that should guide what the government of Sudan will present at the United Nations General Assembly. Once more, thank you very much for the arrangements, even at a very short notice. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Adibala. Actually, it is your initiative, among others, which had made us also feel that we should not be left out in Sudan. And we should also try to move faster to try to catch up on what we had left. Your message was very loud and clear, and also the Sudanese governor's also message was also very loud and clear. So believe you me, very soon we shall try to change our situation for food systems in Sudan. Please allow me to also remind the floor and the participants. Down there are two icons. Please share with us your thoughts, your questions, and we are so sorry that the time is running too fast. We would have had 3 sessions for discussion, but because of the time limit and it's already 12:44. So please accept my apologies for requesting you to share with us your thoughts and questions using these 2 icons down there. And believe you me, we are going to, the panelists and the speakers, they are going to contact and share with you their also thoughts and answers for your notes and questions. Thank you so much. And I would love to request Professor Sami to give closing remarks and close this meeting officially for us.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the organizers, thank you for Professor Abidali. And I think this is a very interesting and crucial meeting to collaborate between different institutes, academia, and Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Higher Education, Agriculture Research Center. So we have to come together to have one view, to work together to achieve the goals. And I think all the things are there said. At the end, also I thank all of participants for their real contribution, strong contribution, and we hope that we go forward from this point and to have one national plan for food security, for capacity building projects and so on. And you have to work on that. Thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you for all participants again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Sami. Allow me to bring the apologies for Mr. Wajdi for Mahjoub Ikhwan Company. He was supposed to be with us, but due to very urgent issue, because he is outside the country, he was not able to give his thoughts and remarks also on this event. But he is very willing to come and share with us on our next activity, inshallah. So please allow me to give a small vote of thanks for, I have actually a very long list, but I will just summarize. I would love to thank the Ministry of Agriculture and Forests and ARC and ARC for hosting this event. Yet it comes in very short notice. We are very thankful. And even the Minister of Agriculture and Forests and his team, the Undersecretary and his team were very supporting. I could not also forget the support I met from the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research, the Undersecretariat and his team, all of them. Professor Mohammed Mahjoub was also very, very kind to us, yet we came at the last minute. Thank you so very much. I can't forget to thank the Arab Organization for Agricultural Development with very warm regards to Professor Dekheri. We thank Professor Ali so much for giving us their thoughts as well. I would also love to thank the panelists and the speakers. They really were very kind to me, and they worked hard, yet I make a lot of calls and a lot of requests, not forgetting to request them now to send their final presentations to be included in the report. I can't forget to thank everyone who registered to attend this event. I hear they are around 100, more than 122 people, vary from scientists to students from Sudan and also from out Sudan. We are going to share the statistics for people who were able to attend. And of course, I can't forget to thank Forum, specifically the IT team. Amoto, you really made this day very successful. Thank you so much. I can't forget to thank Nada, Dr. Nada and Dr. Hatim for doing the translation. We are here talking in English or Arabic. They are there translating, making us very comfortable. Thank you so very much. I can't also forget to thank my team. I'm working here with the people helping me, and Sarah is just presenting them. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so very much, everyone. And allow me to close this meeting after the official closing by the Undersecretariat of the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research.